Good morning, YouTube fans. It's Carmen McPhail from United Country Lifestyle Properties of Maine, and I am at 985 Grindstone Road in the town of Stacyville. Have you ever dreamed of having enough land for true autonomy and self-sufficiency? You know, a place to have gardens and have wildlife and cut your own firewood and just live a life of peace. Well, this may be just what you're looking for. Today, I'm going to show you the home behind me. Yes, it is a year-round home. It is a stick-built home. There's a private well and septic. There's also a second well on site, so great opportunity for you to add another building or another homestead for relatives or friends. We're going to go take a look at this today, and then Phil is with me. And he's wandered off into the woods as usual, but he'll be back and he'll go take you into the woods here and show you this land. One of the nice things about this property, when you come in, there's this nice little mudroom area, and there's actually right here is the laundry room, just inside the entryway. It opens right up into the living room, dining room, kitchen area. Very efficient space, plenty of room for your furniture. You could easily put a larger table in here, or you could put a bar in and then have a little more cupboard space so that you could prepare food and you can eat at the bar easily. You will note that there is a heat pump here. That is more than enough to heat this over 3/4 of the year. One of the other features of this house that I like personally is in the entry room, there's one way in, one way out. So there's two different doors there. You can come in from the end, which is where you would park, or you can come in from the front yard without having to go around the end. There's also a door here on the back of the home so that you can go out into where the garden space is. And then there's a third door down around the corner. I did mention that the heat pump will take care of the heat here about 3/4 of the time. You will notice this register. This goes to a forced hot air furnace that obviously will take care of the rest of the time. Here to my left is a full-size bathroom. It's got a nice tub with a surround that also has a shower. And this little area here, obviously they used it as a little office area. Here's the end of the hallway is the one and only bedroom. It is a good-sized bedroom. As you can see, there's some couple of large pieces of furniture in here that fit easily. It also is a double closet system. There is some storage. We'll go look at that in a minute in the utility room. But for one person or two people, there is plenty of room here. As I mentioned earlier, there is one more exterior door here. I'm here in the utility room. As you can see, there is the forced hot air furnace behind me. This is the electric water heater, the well trawl expansion tank that helps keep the pressure in your water system is over here in this corner, and behind the door is the electrical entrance. One of the other things I wanted you to note while we're standing right here is this is where the septic goes into the slab. There's also an overflow here so that if there's an issue with water, there is a drain in the floor in this room, and you can see that this all sits directly on a slab. It is not on posts and piers. It sits directly on a slab. Before we head back outside, I just wanted to let you know that this is 864 plus or minus square feet of living space, and that it is sitting on 40 acres of land. So Bill's going to show you the land, but we're going to go outside and take a look. There's an outbuilding, a utility shed. Also, I'm going to show you a unique little feature of this house, the way that they have put the oil tank on the end of it. We're going to take a walk down to this other end of the house. As you can see, one of the wells, the one that's actually attached to the house, is right here in the front yard and easy to find. So for those of you who are familiar with Maine and its winters and heating fuel, if you have to have an outside tank that is not protected, then they have to deliver kerosene or K1 fuel. If it's actually inside and heated to some degree, then they can use number 2 heating oil, which is less expensive. So they built this little shed on the end of the house, and there's no door into it. You can access it, the filter for doing maintenance through that little panel there, and you can see the gauge through this window that tells you how much fuel is in it. One of the things I just realized I forgot to mention is that home was built in 2013, so it's not very old, 12 years old. I think it's just the cutest thing, and that it would make a great hunting camp or getaway, or even the start of a wonderful homestead. So now that I remembered that, let's go take a look at this shed. The shed is from, they think, right around 2000. They bought it from somebody else that had it and decided they didn't need it anymore. As you can see, it could use a little paint, but nothing major. But there's plenty of room in here. Store all your summer needs, all your outdoor stuff, any outdoor furniture that you have if you had a patio area. Also, plenty of room for gardening tools, for your lawnmower. Okay, so that's all the stuff right here around the house. Phil will be back shortly, and when he comes back, he will take you on a little tour of the land.
Hey folks, Phil here with you guys now. Hope you enjoyed the tour with Carmen on the inside of the home. Merry Christmas to all you. Happy holidays for all our returning subscribers. And if you're new to the channel, consider hitting that bell down below. Subscribe to our channel. Put on all notifications. You won't miss the next video we put out. And if you like this video, please give it a like. Hit that thumbs up and share it with a couple friends of yours. And I've been out wandering around on this 40 acres of land, and you're in for a treat. This is a really nice piece of land. We're out here on the side of Route 11, Grindstone Road, as you'll see it on the map. This property is at 985 Grindstone Road. The house that's about 150 feet off the road on this private driveway with heavy tree cover out here on Route 11, so you got all kinds of privacy. I believe this was an old farm. We've got a lot of good farm soil we're going to show you. We've got apple trees out here on the road, 650 feet or so of frontage on the road. And if you look right across the street, now we're not sure why, but this property comes with a roughly 70 to 80 feet on one end, 100 on the other, 200 feet along the road, right straight across from this driveway. That lot comes with the property. So you could have extra parking for friends that are coming up to visit. Maybe someone's here to go hunting, fishing, snowmobiling, ATVing, whatnot. Place to park your trailers across the road. So we're going to walk in here and jump on the land. So stick around. You're going to want to see some of the land in the back. Some nice timber on this property, some great soils, relatively flat land. Let's go take a hike. Folks, we're located here in the town of Stacyville. Stacyville is a northern Penobscot County town. We're about 6 or 7 miles off of I-95, so getting here is relatively easy. As far as shopping goes, there's a gas station about 5 miles from here, a convenience store, a hotel in the town of Sherman. The nearest service town would probably be Patton at 13.5 miles from here. Patton's got a grocery store, health clinics are up there, hardware. You've got building supplies, some restaurants, beautiful little town. Beyond that, Bangor, 88 miles roughly to our south. That's about an hour and 28, 30-minute ride. Boston is 315 miles, 4.5 hours. If you're trying to get into New Brunswick, Canada, the southern Aroostook County seat of Houlton is about 43 miles from this location, and most of that's on I-95. That would also be your nearest hospital in the town of Houlton. If you're coming to this part of Maine, you're probably coming here for the outdoor recreation. Those of us who live here, if you don't like the outdoors, you're probably going to be bored to death up here in northern Maine. But if you like peace and quiet, things to do outside, year-round, summer, winter, well, it doesn't matter. We've got all kinds of recreation. The nearest, the state's largest state park, Baxter State Park, is just to our west here. Governor Baxter, back in the 1920s, worked his tail off to get a couple 100,000 acres of land set aside for all us Mainers to enjoy the outdoors on. And it also included some of the highest peaks in Maine, absolutely the highest peak, Mount Katahdin, and some of the other surrounding mountains. Next to that, we've got the Katahdin Woods and Waters National Monument. That's a recent national monument. And I'm looking out across the street, folks, and turkeys are roosting already. I'm on, that's kind of weird. Middle of the day. Sorry for that aside. Katahdin Woods and Waters, about 87,000 acres of conserved land that abuts the eastern side of Baxter State Park. The highlight of that monument would be the east branch of the Penobscot River. Absolutely wild, beautiful river. Some major waterfalls in there, Grand Pitch and some others. Beautiful place to go fishing, paddling, kayaking, you name it. If you're in for a little bit of culture, head up to the town of Patton, 15 miles from here. We've got the Patton Lumberman's Museum, and that's got some incredible artifacts and the history of logging here in Maine from the 1800s to the early 1900s, back in the river drivers' days. That's a really cool place to take the kids to learn a little bit about the history here in the state of Maine. And finally, folks, this area of the state of Maine is blessed with water. We've got lakes, ponds, rivers, and streams, hundreds of them in this region. Beautiful places to paddle, to powerboat, to fish, to swim, you name it. So if you're looking for a place that's got everything you'd ever want in an outdoor recreational area, it's right here, and you can call this place your home. Hey, have you ever visited Baxter State Park or Katahdin Woods and Waters National Monument? If you have, share that in the comments down below. Tell us a little bit about your adventures up here in this part of Maine. Okay, we're over here next to the house, and right over here was the caretaker told us there used to be a garage right here. Perfect place to build one, nice level spot. Right over there is the well, the second well that Carmen probably mentioned earlier. If you wanted to have a homestead here, put a barn in, wanted water for your animals, you got the well right over here. We'll show you that location here in a second. The one nice thing about this property is it's got a lot of trails on it, and they need a little bit of TLC to open them back up. There's a few blowdowns here and there, but overall it's a pretty good trail system. And I've walked all the way to the back of the property today, folks, and we're not going to put the cameraman through it because, quite honestly, it is really cold here today. We got about 12 degrees. The wind's blowing really hard, and fingers freeze fast on cameras when you're trying to hold them steady. Got apple trees over here. There's more over there. They're kind of scattered all through this area. I suspect a lot of this land may have been some farmland at one time. And here's our other well. And we're about 100 feet or so from the house. And this is an older well, top of the casing right here. And I'll geo-reference this for you so you can see where it is on our map software. And it looks like an easy well to hook up to. All right, so right here, we're on the trail. This trail actually comes out and hits Grindstone Road. And we're going to walk in here now. This runs out pretty much almost to the very back of the property. And along the way, there's a lot of little branches of trails running in both directions. If you're a hunter, what I saw out here this morning was absolutely amazing. There's deer tracks everywhere. We're surrounded by a lot of agricultural land. This is a really heavily wooded parcel, right surrounded by all of this ag land. And if you're a hunter, you already know what that means. But I found deer bedding locations in here this morning, some fresh beds, tracks going in every direction. We are beyond hunting season, but not very far, just about a week. This, you're going to see some really nice big white pine right in here behind the house. The land is kind of a mix, what I call a mixed wood site with hardwoods and softwoods. A lot of sugar maples in here in places, poplar, red maples. We've got balsam fir, and there's some fir in here that definitely needs to be harvested soon. Just walked by one right there that's 10, 12 inches in diameter. But this trail, like I said, runs back here, and talking to the caretaker, wonderful old man, he told me that you'll see on the map, there's like a strip, looks like a road, but it's an old power line. Power lines are long gone, but the opening is still pretty much intact, and with some work, tractor work, whatnot, bush hog, you could probably reclaim that and put yourself a little field back here. just in behind the house. We're around this corner. We're going to step out onto that, and we'll show you that next. Okay, we're back here on what I said was probably this old pole line. No lines here. Bushes are growing in, but it's looking pretty good. This is where the trail that runs through the center of the property, pretty near to the back of the lot, starts. And let's talk a little bit about the elevations here. This is a relatively flat piece of land. We've got elevations from about 550 to 570 feet above sea level. Overall, the soils on the NRCS soil maps are showing some pretty good stuff, mostly silt loams, Perham, Dixmont, Thorndike, Monarda. I haven't seen any surface rocks jutting out of the snow, so that's a pretty good sign. It's not as rocky as a lot of places in Maine, because we are in a pretty actively farmed area because of the good quality soils. So we're going to walk back up here on this trail, show you a little bit of the timber, and then we'll go wrap this up for you. All right, we're almost back to where this lot widens out, and if you look at the overlay of the mapping, the lot comes in, has a couple little 90-degree turns in it, and when we're going to get back here, it's going to open up to a nice rectangle. Along this way, this all looks to be like old farmland. The previous owner here has had a timber thinning harvest done, I'm guessing, probably 15 to 20 years, maybe longer. I'm not sure. It may not have been any longer than that, but you can see a lot of new regenerating hardwoods coming in the understory of the trees that were left behind. So it's actually very beautiful. Okay, folks, we're back here where the lot widens out. And what you're going to see here, like I said earlier, there's two big, massive pine trees. I call them the twin pines, even though they don't look anything alike. One's got a couple of stems on it going up straight, but they're huge. They're 30 inches at the butt, maybe bigger than that. It didn't have a tape measure to measure them. I'll show you the map software here, see where we're located. I don't think you can see it in the sunlight, but if you can, the blue dot, that's us. Can't see it, well, call me, I'll send you a copy of this map. But speaking of this software, if you're looking at this property, and before you come here, you want to get an idea of what it looks like, you're going to see all those little photo icons on there. Those are places on this lot that I've been taking a photograph, and they're geo-referenced to the location on that map, which is pretty nice. And I can tell you what I found out here in the woods today. The north line, which is the far back property line, where it was supposed to be, I found a beautifully painted line, and I'll share the photos here with you so you can see that. I found the western line, the long section of the west line, I found that no trouble. The east line, I found some flagging over there, but I think that was probably done a long time ago by when the owner had this lot thinned. Didn't find any sign of blazes. So the eastern boundary line is not really well marked on the ground, just so you know. Can be redone. This description of this property goes back to the original lotting plan of the town. We've got a copy of that, kind of how we arrived at where we're at here as far as location, along with the town's tax mapping. Neither one of our survey, the lotting plan was survey, but it was on the 1800s. So if you want to update that, you'll be welcome to. You've heard me talk if you watched our channel before. I'm not a surveyor, so any of these lines I find out here, if you're concerned, you might want to have them verified. Let's see. I think that's it. We're going to take you back out. See if I can find my wife. Hopefully she hasn't left without us yet. It's a long walk back to Lincoln from here, and we'll wrap this video up for you. Hey, we're back here at the house, and Carmen did wait for us, so we do have a ride back to Lincoln, so that's good news. Thanks for joining the two of us here today at 985 Grindstone Road in the town of Stacyville. What do you think, folks? This is a very special place. Would you use it for homesteading? Would you use it as a base camp for outdoor recreation, going to Baxter State Park or Katahdin Woods and Waters, or maybe a hunting cabin? You tell us in the comments down below. Love to hear from you guys telling us what you'd use this property for. Please share that with us. So the asking price on this property, folks, is $185,000. The taxes for 2025 are $1,472. 40 acres of land. We got 650 feet of frontage out here on Grindstone Road, on grid, got the shed, the house, some great trails on the property, all of this in the heart of outdoor recreation. Thanks again for taking the tour, and do us a favor, help us keep making more of these videos for you. Hit that subscription button, put on all notifications. That way you won't miss the next tour we do of a hunting, fishing, recreational, rural homestead up here in the state of Maine.